You are now entering the Raw Zone.
USO 82.3 FM, where the independent artists are now streaming on all smart TVs. Just add the Live 365 channel and search PUSO. PUSO 82.3 FM, where the independent artists are the stars.
You're now listening to the Evening Rush Network.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Yeah. Right. X. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down. Killing. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let me cook. Outside, time to heat the city up. Wow. Phones out, we about to make a video. Right. Shorty move in that fit, something silly, bruh. So much on her back, I tell her giddy up. Homie, breathe. You surrounded by the wolves now. Better listen to your bro, bring it way down. You are not in any shape for the smoke. I can see through your soul, you just mad cause you broke. Slow down, oh, you killing them. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down, oh, you killing them. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down, oh, you killing them. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down, oh, you killing them. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let me cook. Outside, time to burn the city down. Heard your baby mama wanna go to Pound Town. Say a word and I promise you won't get her back. And her cheeks got it sounding like a soul clap. Girl, please, you're surrounded by some love now. Put the attitude aside, give me a hug now. You are not in any shape for a fraud. She can tell by the charm, she gon' give me what I want. Slow down, oh, you killing them. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down, oh, you killing them. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down, oh, you killing them. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down, oh, you killing them. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let me cook. Outside, time to clean you suckers up. Must be rabbit season by the way you ducking us. Can't compare catalogs, who are you though? That goofy talk will get you dog walk like Pluto. Stop, you ain't never been a stepper. I bought my chicken, garlic palm, lemon pepper. Certified every time that I flex. I be working for a check, you be capping for the next. Slow down, oh, you killing them. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down, oh, you killing them. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down, oh, you killing them. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down, oh, you killing them. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let me cook.
It feels so good.
Revenge, so sweet. Pound sign winning, retweet, TV popping, website ranking, Lord and supporters, yes, I gotta thank them. Feeling like Cruz in the end zone, dancing, gotta call ELUS, Eli, Manning. Oh, you thought you was Brady? Well, what have you won lately? On top of the world like a Mason, while you over there looking, hating. Used to ride on the bench, waiting. Now I talk trash starting, Peyton. Told y'all at 18, I'm great Kobe. 7 years winning it, sounding like I'm Ori. Horns in the record sounding like glory. When it feel good, yeah, that's my story.
Winning it feels so good.
You know it feels so good.
Winning it feels so good.
You know it feels so good.
Winning it feels so good.
You know it feels so good.
Winning it feels so good.
You know it feels so
WIN. I'm telling you, try it. If you don't succeed the first time, rewind. Play it back. 8-track, cassette, still stay in tune with times. The underground essence of hip-hop, award winner. Names ELUS in the booth, I'm a Thor Linda. On stage I made, you ever saw it, didn't ya? Probably wasn't applaud giver. Now give a hand to the fam that I started with. I take it back to being 12 with a starter kit. Started as a DJ, artist in me, babe. Worked on my craft and toured about 3 states. That was back then, like a backspin. Off the ground, now the sound label classic. When I said no delay, they repeat it back. Don't even want to be a legend, I'ma be the Mac.
Winning it feels so good.
You know it feels so good.
Winning it feels so good.
You know it feels so good.
Winning it feels so good.
You know it feels so good.
I think I quite enjoy it.
You know it feels so good.
My team be winning, so it's constant scoring. Scholar music, get that budget, nigga, college touring. Think I got her on a crowd from the sky with flooring. Dressed in a gaga meat dress, hot couture. So hot, I'm so hot, my temperature soaring. Doctors say she's sick and it's spreading like a mushroom sporing. If this was a forest, the trees be infected. My pockets ain't porous though, my trees not affected. Throw in a swisher, apply heat and ingest it. If it's about a stack, then I'm D to make connections. You on your cat stack, D to eat erections. Woody Woodpecker, I got that D up in your neck, shit. Fucking hater, bitch, I done seen you with your nose floating in my sauce like a bean do. Came to my release party for the single. The people's with me, then go run and tell your people. Tell them you thirsty, but I'm never that. I keep a lot of verve. Told the waitress bring the corkscrew out on her tray and get it popping like soda on a cocaine. Humble chick, I'll tell you a secret. Think I become accustomed to celebrity treatment. Hollywood, they call me famous for speaking. Mala Reigns, Quan Lee, and ELUS got you beating. Winning. You know, that's how we do. Please don't hate us. We just doing what we do. Why don't you do what you do? What is it that you do again?
Bounce, bounce, bounce. Slide, slide, slide. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Slide. Baby, caught you looking when I hit the floor. Staring like you never seen before. Every move I make, I know you feel. Got you wondering if it's really real. Lights flashing, bass thumping. Don't just, boy, I say you're trying really hard to impress. If you want me, better show the game. Cause tonight you're gonna know my name. Bounce, 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 bounce it out. Shake,
me the loot.
Running man, running man, running man. Running. I'm the running man. Running man, running man, running man. Running. Running man, running man, running man. Blow it back, then I run it up again. Running man, running man, running man. I'm out of breath again. Running man, running man, running man. Blow it back, then I run it up again. Running man, running man, running man. I'm out of breath again. Oh yeah, you know it. I got a pocket full of posy, I'ma throw it. And if she moving like a stripper, I'ma grow it. I might save her, I'm feeling type heroic. Every time I see her, she a throat goat. Look Colombian with a 10 going loco. Ride it like a horse. She playing polo. Then she throw it in the bag like she low so. Yeah, I'm living like a rock star, low beat. Still a ghetto nigga, Glock star, low beat. If I see a lick gang, pull up with the stick. Ripping chains off with the shirts like Rick. Had to tell her I'm a grower, not a shower. Never been the bragging type, but I fuck her like I owe her. She the type to fall in love, I like moving slower. Telling me we go together, I don't even know her. Running man, time to run it up again. Drip nasty, looking like I'm throwing up again. Park the foreign, got me sliding in a minivan. Mask on, sticks drawn, this a rock van. Running man, running man, running man. Blow it back, then I run it up again. Running man, running man, running man. I'm out of breath again. Running man, running man, running man. Blow it back, then I run it up again. Running man, running man, running man. I'm out of breath again.
Ladies, did your man cheat on you this Valentine's Day? Did you and the girls decide it's going to be all about the ladies this year? Is daddy not listening? Leave that motherfucking man at home and meet me at Connect the Story this Saturday, February 14th. We're outside for the anti-Valentine's Day party. No tickets, RSVP on the Eventbrite link. You could click it in the bio. No mixing, no mingling, just a loud and proud Valentine's Day party hosted by the beautiful, the one and only Charmin Electra, aka Sheena. We got music by DJ Move. Doors open 8 p.m. This is for my heartbreak baddies, the single and thriving baddies, the girls who said we not crying over no bum ass motherfucking baddies. Come on, come on. Want to enter the raffle? Bring a picture of your bum ass ex. And meet me at Connect Astoria, 3216 Steinway Street in Astoria, Queens. Remember, RSVP for free through the Eventbrite link because this Valentine's Day we choosing vibes over the motherfucking vibes. What's up, brothers and family? It's your homegirl Ivy Katie, whatever you want to call me. Just talk to me nice because God don't like ugly. I'm proud to introduce one of our newest sponsors, a movement that is bigger than basketball. Shout out to Coney Brooks, Wings Beacon Elite, and the PNSBC. It's not just a basketball team, it's a community, it's a leadership, it's legacy in motion. A dream that was put together by Coney Brooks to organize all these local community centers with basketball teams with something to prove and something to build. They're not just looking to win games, they're looking to make a difference in the world around them on the court and in the neighborhood. If you want to get involved and find out what it's about, whether you are a brand, an artist, an influencer that believes in giving back to the community and giving back in change, Coney Brooks. It's not about getting your logo seen at games, even though you will. It's about supporting our local youth. It's about supporting and mentoring and raising future leaders. So stand next to a movement that represents culture and purpose. Stay tuned for the Raw Zone on location in our media day. If you want to get involved with the PNSBC and Wings Beacon Elite, remember follow at Coney Brooks and Wings Beacon Elite on Instagram. Guys, if you want to sponsor, you want your brand promoted, buy Welcome to the Raw Zone, DM us now.
You keep throwing It's a remix. You keep throwing blame. Bet that bell won't swing my way. Telling me what I do wrong. A list of complaints I see, but you gon' eat those words you say. Turn me off, then turn me away. Blindsided from my munching, your true colors came in waves. Thought I found you what I was missing. See, you get so defensive. No, you never listen. Your mind's in the distance, triggers got me reminiscing. You steady with the mind game, but ain't gon' put that on me. I see you steady with the mind games, but ain't gon' put that on me. I've been trying to take the ride, take time, but you got pain that you should see. And I see you steady with the mind games, but you ain't gon' put that on me. On me.
Love, let's even the score, you must have lost one. Pitching that you playing for two, I'm really on one. Let's keep it short for the long run. Don't get me started before it's all done. It's up when that call come to me as a woman, I'ma break your shit. If you claim me that you claim me, better say that shit. Nigga, look, with all I took, you better take that shit. I'm dead ass and that's the crazy shit. Know that I was never for the mini man. Can't feel how you carry on, cause I got hands in plenty, man. Build them up and break them down, you break through, then I'm breaking. I told you I wouldn't play around. You gotta stay up just to stay around. Where you had me is where you lost me. You come shopping this way, then it get costly. I'm on now that you off me. I had to shake that nigga off me. Hey, yo, B, you know me, I'm tired of talking.
You steady with the mind game, but ain't gon' put that on me. I see you steady with the mind games, but ain't gon' put that on me. I've been trying to take the ride, take time, but you got pain that you should see. And I see you steady with the mind games, but you ain't gon' put that on me. On me.
Yeah. I see you steady with the mind games. Got me looking at you sideways. Like, don't know what's wrong or what's the right way. I just give you the right away, like always. Cause you know that you're my baby. And lately you've been acting a little shady. So I'd rather stay out of your way. Cause when you do me wrong, I play the fool, but somehow you prove me right. You do this every time. Oh, don't you ever get tired, cause I'm tired. Like boy bye. So don't try it. No, I ain't buying your mind games.
You steady with the mind game, but ain't gon' put that on me. I see you steady with the mind games, but ain't gon' put that on me. I've been trying to take the ride, take time, but you got pain that you should see. And I see you steady with the mind games, but you ain't gon' put that on me. On me.
Tri-Bro was the greatest. I told him though if he didn't have the flight plans right, we wasn't gonna do it. He said no. So of course, Tri-Bro was the greatest, so they gonna do that for us. He didn't listen up to what the music was talking about, but
Con, you're a funny dude. Listen up. Yeah. Hey, ELUS, man. Did you mix that listen up yet?
Got you, man. Got you. I knew you were gonna ask that, yo.
Good, babe. Thank you.
Oh, you got it? Yeah. Stop, man.
Put that on, you heard?
Put that on. Oh, come on. That's what I've been waiting to hear.
T.
nigga. ELUS. Life's a gift and tomorrow ain't promised. Life's a bitch, but you gotta stay positive. I spit reality rap, life acknowledgement, a mirror reflection of my previous accomplishments. A born winner, no L's in my future, except the one filled up with excellent Buddha. No stressing in a session when it's just a computer. No guessing when the question is the answer reversed. No book to this shit, manual we could look for. We lost in the sauce, but how long do we cook for? Trapping in the trenches, back against the wall, so we cooking broad, not knowing how long should we stretch it. Ruining the product, make another batch is good and mixing in it and I'm moving it regardless. I progress off the thought alone, so focused in the zone without a thought of being bothered. A wise man told me, always keep a golden smile and hold it down hard even when it's going foul. And there's a reason why you got two ears and one jaw, so you can talk less and listen more. Listen more, listen more, listen more, listen more, listen more. Melissa Ford. Melissa Ford, Melissa Ford got a body banging. Wouldn't mind if I could probably bang her. Now let's rearrange it. I'm zoning to a beat produced by my dude, yo. Real name like mine, but those shit the same pseudo. See, I'm a loose and he said Uno. When the three niggas on it are known as C-B-roll. Life's a long movie, no chance of a sequel. Feature presentation without showing a preview. Cameras stay rolling, never ever lacking film. I'm out trying to make ends meet, track and field. I wrote this rhyme in under 10 minutes. I bet you feel it, sorta like we gambling in real. My avenue is real. We living in the jungle with the animals that kill kids handling the steel. While 40 acres old, they distract us with a pill. The house nigga now is the mouth who's kept sealed. No more Malcolms, no more Martins. A shortage of solutions, too many problems. Not enough action, too much talking. Yeah, I'm contributing, so I stop recording here. Recording here, recording here, recording here, recording here. Extraordinaire, 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 extraordinaire. Yeah. I don't even think that's a real word. Direct thoughts are magical like Spielberg. Quiet on the set, wanna make a bet, stay fly like a pilot in a jet. Connery, I'm the realest you ever met. My two counterparts composing a triple threat. Without no budget, we drop so heavy on the streets, MCs cannot budget. The word overseas, they please and just love us. We on a world tour, so please carry the luggage. The three brothers, TBZs. In war, we staying alive like the Bee Gees. I got my doughboy gear on. We are the new beginning of hip-hop from here on. We started from scratch with some scratch, now we built an empire and dare to strike back. Convey to perform the raw data. I move side to side on stage like a crossfader. The love is why I started in the first place. And grind hard till my team's up in first place. First place, first place, first place, first place, first place.
USO 82.3 FM, where the independent artists are. Now streaming on all smart TVs. Just add the Live 365 channel and search PUSO. PUSO 82.3 FM, where the independent artists are the stars.
You're now listening to the Evening Rush Network.
Oh, Jesus Christ, it took forever to get over here, bro, but I made it. We made it over here. It's been 7 weeks. We're back from the holidays. We got our rest, had some drinks, we had some fun, a couple of Friendsgivings. But Happy New Year, guys. Happy 2026. We are on the way to our season 7 premiere in April. It is I, your homegirl, Katie, Ivy, whatever you want to call me. Just talk to me nice because Bob Marley and our guest, the kind genius, does not like ugly. You could catch us everywhere, starting with our website, www.rawzonenyc.com. Catch us on Pulso 82.3 FM on the Live 365 app, Wednesdays, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and, of course, Friday nights on the Evening Rush Network at 10 p.m. Whew. We are now sponsored by Wings Beacon Elite Community Basketball Team. Shout out to Coney Brooks and the PNSBC for doing what you do for the community, giving these kids a safe place where they can, one, find ways to become future leaders, stay off the streets, as well as just form brothership that they can take with them for many years. If you want to get involved. Our season starts next week, so shout out to them. We're doing big things over there in the Bronx. Stay tuned for our Raw Zone on location. Yeah, if you want to know more info, hit up at Wings Beacon Elite on Instagram. March 15th, catch us at Sanger Hall. Raw Zone will be on location for the 5,000 Experience concert event hosted by Shah the Model with performances by the Titan of Rap himself, S Rock, Akil Ali, and a famous rapper, with music by DJ Ace of Spades. Look at all these pretty ass people on the flyer. Get your tickets on the Rockview ENT website. Whew. So, I can honestly say I've been in journalism since I was a teenager, and if I've learned everything from fact checking to citing what's a real resource and what's not. But never have I ever had to use all 7 weeks of a hiatus because someone's digital footprint, I don't want to say who on who, was so elusive, okay, that I had to now have to give credit to Quan Lee, D. Dave, Coney Brooks, Chuck Platinum. I'm trying to figure out who else I asked about him. I've asked Sky, who had something engineered by him. Like, thank God, his work speaks for more than just the catalog he produces, right? We're sitting down with someone who's just not behind the boards. He is the man. He is a Grammy award-winning engineer, producer, developer, artist, manager, consultant. According to Chuck Platinum, he and Tribal broke the the Book of World Records. This man is notoriously known to be at a show or in a cipher and will freestyle his ass off. He is the OG of the OGs. He is a name that's been circulating in the New York music circle long before Instagram and all these other social medias will suffice. I need everyone to really get that energy up, drop all the flames in the chat, and I want everyone to give the kind genius 1/3 of Triborough a round of applause.
Give myself my applause, you know what I mean?
Yeah, about damn time too. I heard everyone got to tell you to actually accept your flowers.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like even now my work is still not done. So it's like that's a gift and a curse for me. I don't think I'm ever gonna be satisfied. You know what I mean? But that's the secret to the drive. You know what I mean? That keeps me going at the same time. It's a gift and a curse. Word.
Oh man, my love. First of all, shout out to you for being here. The last time we were here, it was a whole different type of show, essentially. And then we were in a pandemic, so a lot has changed. I don't even think you had won the Grammy at that point.
Nah.
So we were talking. We had gotten pre-ELUS, pre-Super Saiyan. How you been?
I've been good. I'm actually, recovering from a cold. Hopefully, I'm coming in clear, but it's been frigid temperatures in New York, and I was good for a while, but even I succumbed to this cold, But luckily, it was just a cold. It wasn't like the flu or nothing like that,
Please tell me you're not riding your little scooter bike everywhere still in this fucking cold.
I gave that up like a year and a half ago.
So you gave it up finally.
In fact, I walk now like a regular, human. I actually use my 2 feet to walk. I take the bus and train, Word.
I don't think there was anything wrong with the scooter. I think in this cold though, however, you crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. But I was laid up, I was masked up, I had the goggles, I was fully prepared for it. So, I'm crazy like that,
But we love you though.
I love you too. And my fault for the digital footprint being so crazy. I'm from the era before the internet, and
No, of
just
course.
being lazy. You know what I mean? I didn't really dive into my whole,
Dude,
trail.
that's crazy, right? Because so your interview, like this interview came about because we were talking about your music with Quan back in the day. So shout out to Quan Lee, who's also in the building. He said sign my track.
Salute Quan, word up.
We got Sean Khan in the building.
Salute my brother Sean Khan, 1/3 of Triborough, the infamous Triborough.
We got Left Lane in the building.
Left Lane all day. Word up. Shout out to my brothers in Left Lane.
Okay. So it was funny because I had never, like, it was always you as an artist, the stories were like an urban legend, right?
You had to be there.
Yeah, that's so literally because I remember when it was just me kind of still navigating in the scene. Coney would always tell me like the OGs were ELUS. At least, like I remember him saying you and D Dave, and you guys used to wrap circles around people. And
Allegedly, I gotta be humble, allegedly. I know D Dave would be like, yo, fuck that humble shit, yo, talk your shit, E.
And that's exactly. And then I go on Quan's Reverb Nation because I was, you understand how much of a deep dive I did? Like, Quan updated my computer and put PS2 games on it, and he saw my search history trying to find every goddamn thing about you. I was determined. I was like literally like a book nerd.
And you had hit me too. You was like trying to get. I was just like, yo, just figure it out. You know what I mean? Hit Quan.
And you told me to figure it out too, which made me want to do it even more. Because I'm just that persistent. Like I want to know.
I'm eager to find out what you found out. You know what I mean? I'm here. It's almost 30 years you talking to. What, 29 to be exact. 29 years since I've been in this game.
And even Chuck said it like, I think he said it perfectly. You are so instrumental in the production of so much of what New York sounds like right now.
Absolutely. I went through different eras of it too. And always was like pretty much forefront. Word. Even when we was like, at one point we did hate on the South. I ain't gonna lie, you know what I mean? I was in that era too. When we thought we lost our identity and stuff like that, But shout to New York currently. I feel like, we back on it. We back where we need to be. And, I like a lot of these new artists that's coming out now too. Everything comes full circle. I feel like lyricism is being appreciated again. Word.
Yeah, you're surprised to my reaction when I heard the song with Mala that I had played before, and before you asked me, I have to look at the name. The winning song from Quan, right?
Okay.
And that's when you wrote "Don't Count Me Out Yet." Now fast forward, I'm learning about Triborough, watching you do all these freestyles. And I'm sitting here like, why the fuck is this not happening now? Why? Let's get that one out of the way. Why are we not doing music right now? I know you love what you do, but why?
All right. The short answer, I had a deal, I want to say in Con is there, he'll correct me if I'm wrong. I want to say in 2013, I had a deal. It was a production deal that would have blossomed into a record deal. However, it was a breach of contract by the owner of the label. I'm not gonna plug in the label or the person, give them free promotion. But basically, if you know the history, we were signed at one point, and 2010. So I added time to it, but 2010 we got the deal, and we pretty much couldn't put music out for a year based on the contract. You know what I mean? And we were in limbo. We had 3 deals on the table from Jive, Warner Brothers, and Sony, and we didn't see no contracts, nothing. It was just a lot that year. It was a tumultuous year, and it was an eye-opening year where it was just like, a lot of this industry, it's easy to be caught up in the facade or, selling you a dream, you know what I mean? So I got hit with that, with, and it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. You know, I went super hard. You know, Corner tell you I was like excited. You know, I thought it was gonna be, you know, the transition. You feel what I'm saying? But it was one of those situations where we had a messed up deal, and then the outcome we had to basically shelve ourselves for about a year till we got out the contract. You know what I mean? It was like it left a bad taste in my mouth. That's was the start of it. That was like the seed planting. You know what I mean? I kind of fell back after that. I wasn't initiating records anymore. When me and my group would work, you know, I used to always have like 2 or 3 records every week. You know what I mean? Set up like, yo, here what I did. What's going on? I'm working with different artists, and I kind of fell back. You know what I mean? You know, the passion, kind of the flame for that went out. I didn't even feel the need to prove myself anymore. You know what I mean? Just being totally honest. You know, nothing with the skill set or nothing, but just my passion for it. It shifted though. It didn't die, but for being an artist, it kind of shifted away.
So, so even now, when you see your peers like Chuck putting out projects, um, Quan just came out with the his project, his beat pack. I was like, I'm about to say beat project, his beat pack. Like,
Word.
does it make you want to come back just a little bit?
I mean, here and there, just to play around with it. You know what I mean? Just to prove, mainly to myself, like I still got it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I still got it. It's
Maybe a
mainly that.
tribal reunion, cough
Um,
cough.
we've talked about it in the past. We open to it. You know, shout out to Sean Khan. He's basically been, you know, he kept the flame going. Fresh Air, he still does it, but you know, he's similar to me. He hasn't really put out a project, you know, and I believe he did have a situation after Triborough, but that didn't manifest to anything tangible. You wouldn't be able to like hear music from it or what. I think he did one video, but you know, I did a video too. I was on G Dave and D Dave and G Fisher collab. You know, that was probably my last like visual that you could actually see of ELUS like rapping and stuff like that.
So before Triborough, before being in the boards, where did all of this love come from for music?
6 years old, I found my pop's tapes. You know what I mean? And you know, this is 1991. You know, I don't mind sharing my age. I'm 40 now. You know what I mean? Turning 41 this year. And at 6 years old, I found my pop's tapes, and it was basically like mixtapes. You know, I think it was Ron G tapes to be exact. I believe it was Ron G. He was like a big mixtape DJ back in that time, and I just fell in love with the sound. Now, to give context to it, at 6 years old, I was kind of like banned from listening to hip hop. I didn't really consciously know I was banned, but you know what I mean? I wasn't exposed to it. It was basically just R&B, old school 70s, you know, that's what I knew. You know what I mean? Anything like my parents listened to openly, that's what I knew. But I heard the hip hop, I'm like, oh nah, this is fire. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I secretly fell in love with it. And rest in peace, my grandmother on my father's side, Grandma Geraldine. She reminded me at 6 years old, she had like a tape in her crib with a karaoke mic, and I would make my own mixtapes like a DJ would, and I was like making my own mixtapes. I honestly forgot that till she reminded me of that, but that was probably the start. You know what I mean? 6 years old, that was the spark. You know what I mean? I just fell in love with the energy of hip hop. You know, word.
I'm glad you mentioned that, right? Um, it's amazing how time has changed between, I want to say, the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Because us growing up, hip hop was still on that fence of it's not appropriate music, that the mainstream would listen to, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel now? We're here, 2026. It's so widely accepted. It's been to so many different subgenres.
Um, it's dope to see where hip hop has grown to, because in that same time frame I'm telling you about, that 91 era, hip hop was only played late nights. You know what I mean? I want to say maybe after 10 o'clock at night on the radio. We speaking on radio terms. This is before the internet, you know, before you could stream. And I believe the next year, my mother put me on to Hot 97. She was like, "Hey, son, there's a hip hop station you could actually listen to in the daytime." Because remember, I'm a little kid. I'm not really supposed to be up, but I used to stay up, sneak up. You know what I mean? I used to have the radio down real low so I could record these things, fake like I'm sleeping if my parents came in. Once they leave, I'm pausing the tape. You know what I mean? Like real talk. Like I was making my own mixtapes back in elementary school, facts, and selling them too. It wasn't on some hustle thing, but kids was like, "Hey, you got the new songs." We were little kids. We wasn't even able to stay up past probably 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. You know what I mean? I'm staying up to 12 listening to the radio. So the fact now you could at the palm of your hand you could hear hip hop and it's so embraced worldwide. You know, I think even back then it wasn't even a Grammy nomination. You know what I mean? Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't yet. Like it was not respected. It wasn't respected yet, you know.
When it started getting respect, when wasn't it when Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince put out and they got like the first Grammy for hip hop or something?
Well, even then I don't think it was fully respected, you know what I mean? Just from the perspective of, I mean, that's probably like the first like, you know, nomination and award recipient, but I want to say 9-2, maybe 9-4. That's when hip hop really got, you know, worldwide respect. You know what I mean? Once Nas came in, once Wu-Tang, you know what I mean? Once it was like a big movement, Mobb Deep, like when these guys came on the scene. And this is from my perspective. I know older cats may be, you know, yelling at me right now, but I'm giving you my perspective as a kid. Remember, I entered in 91 on the scene. Hip hop was already here. There was Cool G Rap. There was Big Daddy Kane's. You know what I mean? There was Run DMC's. There was LL Cool J's. You know, cats I knew about. Like I knew of LL Cool J. You feel what I'm saying? But I wasn't immersed into it till 91. And pretty much after that, I was locked in. You know what I mean? Hooked. Like hooked. It had me.
So we went from 6-year-old ELUS,
Mm-hmm.
making mixtapes, selling it to his little elementary school friends.
That's a fact.
What comes next? Like where we bridge the gap from ELUS, the kid, to maturing into the music and like into what is the early stages of you?
Well, 6 more years after that, I would say 1997. Start of the school year, so we talking like September 1997. I don't know what it was, but I just told my parents, "Hey, I want a DJ starter kit." You know what I mean? I just wanted to become a DJ. You know what I mean? No, you know, training, nothing. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I bought it with them. I was just like, I'll be good in school. It won't be any negative reports or anything on my end. Whatever y'all ask, I'll do. And the other thing I said, I don't want no new clothes. I was like, I don't need no new clothes. You know what I mean? Everything could go to the, you know, equipment. I even did research, you know what I mean, through the newspaper and stuff of exactly what I wanted. Like I said, this is before the internet really kicked in. And they used to have like electronic ads on the newspaper, and there was a store called Music Factory on Fordham Road, legendary spot where you could get vinyl and DJ equipment. So I basically mapped out a Gemini starter kit. Gemini is a company that makes turntables. It's not as elite as Techniques, which is like, you know, if you really DJing, that's the goal. 1200s. You know what I mean? You hear that number? That's like the primary, you know, legendary set that you want, but very expensive. So I went for the cheaper route, you know, just so my parents maybe not could say no, you know. And sidebar, I'm an only child, so I was a bit spoiled, you know what I mean? And shout to my mother and my father, they, you know, got me my equipment, you know. And 1997, that Christmas year, DJ ELUS was born, you know. Word. So I started like as a DJ. That was my entry, technically.
So,
1990.
sorry, as you could tell, we have our canine co-host Mello barking at something. I am so sorry.
Nah, we good. Once I said DJ ELUS, you know what I mean? They recognize, you know what I mean? That's the, the crowd. You feel me?
Or
You know what
the
it was.
dogs come out. Got you.
Yeah, feel me? Who run the dogs out? You feel me? Exactly.
So me and Quan ended up talking about this, and I posted the clip up on Instagram. Right?
Hmm.
You were when you started being a producer, an engineer. You were charging $20 an hour in the studio. Did did you see yourself doing this 20 years later and being able to do it in a way that let you work with some major ass people?
I have. Blessed too. You know what I mean? Blessings. The list of who I didn't work with is shorter than who I've worked with. And that makes me proud,
Well,
As
who
far as
did
like the New York region, for this side of things. You know what I mean? You name them, they definitely been in my crib or I've worked with them outside. Once I left the crib in 2015 as far as like the basement setting that I had. But the backtrack with the $20 an hour, it was actually 25 an hour, and it was 5 hours for 100. That was my deal that ran for like that was the bulk of my career based in the crib. That was like when Quan Lee met me, that's what I was running. 25 an hour. I think I was doing 1 hour sessions back then, but basically in the 5 hours for 100. But before that, you know what I mean? I actually, when I started, it was with my high school friends and my neighborhood friends. I didn't even charge. You know what I mean? It was just come out, we would just record. Then probably like a couple months into it, my mother was like, yo, my electricity bill is looking a little crazy. Son, we're gonna talk about this. I need at least $5 an hour, contributed. And this is like, early high school. I want to say I'm 14, 15 at the time. And I started at $5 an hour. That was my starting price. And basically it all went to my mother for the electricity. That was my starting rate. I know Quan was like, yo, I wish I knew him then. $5 an hour. Facts.
You had a 3 for 60 deal?
Uh 3 for 60? I don't remember that.
I don't know, but right now he
Oh no,
made
I
it
did.
sound like
Well, no, I didn't have 3 for 60. I don't remember that.
it sound like you selling 3/8 for $60 right now.
I'm trying to think. Did I have that? I don't remember that, Quan. I remember 5 for 100. I remember that. That was like what I was running. But maybe I did. Maybe Quan, I showed him love. Maybe it was Quan. You know what I mean? You family, I show you some love. But I remember the 5 hours for 100. That was like the golden deal. You know what I mean? That I was doing.
He said spin
Spin
block
City.
for days.
Spin City. That was that was his group that he produced for. That's how I met Quan Lee. He was their producer. I was actually working with his group first. Shout to Devin Terrell, Truth, and Fitz. Fitz is actually uh content creator now too. Trav, he go by Trav. And Devin Terrell, he's a Billboard winning artist. He's one of the biggest engineers now. Sidebar, he actually told me when I went to On the Radar, and I brought Bianca there, he actually told me that I was the reason he wanted to become an engineer. That was huge, a huge telling. You know what I mean? He used to watch me record and it inspired him. A couple people had those stories. You know what I mean? Actually, one of the brothers in the chat that screamed Left Lane, he says the same thing, that I inspired him to become an engineer. He used to come to my basement as well and watch me record and do my magic. I was mixing off the grid, I was just doing it by eyeballing. Crazy back then, but the precision was perfect.
How did you know what to do? Like all of this is self-taught. Did you ever when? How did this all just click to you?
I've been on computers since '89. Since I was 4 years old, there was a brand called Tandy. I'm showing my age yet again. Tandy, that was a brand through Radio Shack, which is no longer a company anymore, but it was an electronic store.
I
Pretty
remember
much
that.
cheaper products, than the grand scale of electronics. They were on the cheaper side of things, and they had a computer called Tandy. This is when Apple computers were called Macintosh. That's where we
Yeah.
get Macs nowadays. It got abbreviated, but it was called Macintosh back in the day. Tandy was before that. You know what I mean? And I was on floppy disks, the hard floppy disks, I
Yeah.
was a computer guy. Like I don't, I just always got technology. I have a computer brain. That's what I always jokingly say about myself. Like I'm part AI for real, like in real life. Like you feel me?
You're
This whole,
AI before
bro, I'm
AI.
excited about it. You feel me? I embrace it fully. I've been Paul revealing this for like 8 years now. Like this is the reality that we're gonna be in. I predicted this. I told everybody this is what it's gonna be, and we here now, and I love it. I love it personally, but I know it's like that's controversial in itself. But y'all gotta
And we
understand, I came from computers. I'm really from that. That's been
and
my
we would
whole.
definitely talk about that because like I feel like the AI is just gonna try to wipe everyone out if we allow it.
Okay.
Like I really think like when they used to tell us we're gonna become slaves to the robots, I really feel like if we keep allowing it, that just might happen. We have a president stupid enough to allow this to happen.
I
So
mean, anything unchecked, I believe could go, anything, if it's unchecked or unregulated, I do think it needs to be more regulations in AI. I do believe in like, putting the stamp on these contents that's being made. It should be some type of detection for it because, as it gets better, it's gonna be harder to detect what's real and what's fake. It's almost there now, you know what I mean? Those that's in the know, we could spot it, but the general public may get fooled by a lot of this AI creation. You know what I mean? They call it AI slop, but it's getting better every year. It gets improved. That's the nature of AI. It's gonna learn from itself and improve itself. So it could go left, but hopefully we have some regulation in place, and and if it do go left, whose fault is it? Is it the computer fault or the programmer fault? You ain't got to answer that. That's for the people. I'm just putting it
see,
out.
but that's a devil's advocate question because I bring up the example of Law and Order SVU. They just recently did an episode about like during the first half of the season where the some girl got mad that this girl fucked her ex or whatever, and then she made an AI porno of her of said person with a teacher she hated. Okay, so
That
if they
ruined her
put that,
reputation. It soiled her reputation or something. Because
yeah, yeah. So you tell, so it's just like, but it's not. It's the fault of the person programming. But what about the people that get affected by it?
so what I'm saying is they should make regulations so when that AI video was posted, that it should have been some kind of indication that it's an AI, you know, they need to have regulation on it, because at the end of the day, it's a computer generating these AI programs. So it should be some kind of stamp in it where it could be detected. Even if people try to manipulate or do what they do, it should be embedded into it so it's protection. That's what I mean by the regulation part.
Oh, because I just think it's too scary. Like they even had an episode where the person, the person's husband died, and they have an AI program allowing them to talk from the grave. And is that considered, if they're having a conversation, is that covered by spousal, the spousal protection? I'm like, are you kidding me?
It should be regulation. This is an AI recording. Bam, like you feel what I'm saying? Before it's even you hear the voice, it should be a notification, just like it's a jail call. You have a collect call from, you know, regulations. We fighting the wrong battles. You feel what I'm saying? Because I believe it's inevitable. We just have to regulate it. We have to regulate it. That's the fight that should be the fight, the regulation part. That's just what I feel. You know, that's just
Yeah,
my.
no, I feel like to an extent, because as a photographer and an editor, I wouldn't. Has it made my life easier? Yes, it has. But at the same time, I look at the other dangerous stuff that be going on, and the fact that we still haven't regulated it
Yeah.
is a little scary.
I mean, I get the fear. I get the fear because, like I said, it could go left. You know, and as it gets better, like I could be AI to you right now. Like you feel what I'm saying? I might not even be here right now. I might be just a engaging bot. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, you know, yo, I'm not gonna be here, but you know, I'm gonna program myself so I could do this interview. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's the doggy's name? What's up?
This is Mello, the canine
Mello, what's up?
co-host.
Mello, what's up?
He just likes to cock block every interview, and being that this is virtual and there's no doggy gate, he just said he could do what he wants. I am so sorry.
All right, now you good. What's up, Mello? What's popping?
But so I you've been a lot on the business side even in your early days.
Mm-hmm.
You were working in music choice. You were involved with video music box.
Yep. Shout out
And
to Daniels. He been in my crib twice. You know what I mean? Tribro is one of his favorite groups. Facts. This is documented. Like, you know, and he been around since hip hop started. So that statement, you know, I live with that to this day. You know, incredible. You know, for him to even say that. You know.
but you got to see what the music industry is about. Um and a lot of people always think it's just about the music, it's just about everything. But how did working within those spaces help shift your perspective on what this is all about?
Well, working at Music Choice, for example, it helped me see the radio side of the industry. You know what I mean? Which I was pretty much blind to. I didn't know how the radio worked, but I actually got in-depth education on it, being an actual programmer. We looked at BDS reports. I understood how that worked. I understood even on different formats. And I even what I considered the sinister part of the radio and later became what the streaming stuff is. They actually have slots in place for these labels. They have deals so that it's only a limited amount of space for independent artists to even be played on commercial radio. You know what I mean? So you could be the biggest, best independent artist, right? But if the slot is already sold up, it's you they won't be able to play you. You know, if you're not signed to like a major or major independent label. You know what I mean?
So,
I'm talking true independent artists, you know, that's not tied to any company.
so what how difficult was it to really get out there? Because you would watch the Fresh Princes where Will would try to go to Barry Gordy, try to get Ashley Single out, and just go and play it like this. But no one really ever understood, like back then, what is the actual process of getting a single played.
I mean, what we did, because I came up during the mixtape era. That's when I was putting on music. It was mixtapes, it was DVDs, you know. So with the mixtapes, we would literally like, you know, hit like big commercial centers like Fordham Road or Times Square, Third Avenue in the Bronx. What's the uh what's the plaza on Brooklyn? The Brooklyn Mall.
Fulton?
Flatbush.
Flatbush.
Fulton Mall. Stuff like that. Hit the centers where it's like a lot of traffic. And you know, my guys kind of started that kind of grind where it was just like we were outside and literally engaging with people, and you know, not just to sell the music but really to get our fan base up. That was how it started, but it became lucrative where it became like, you know, better than the job. Like, I'm not gonna even hold you. It was like a great time to be alive, and if you had the product and you were good, you know, we used to have radios playing, or you know, it was early Bluetooth, I believe, and you know, being able to play it. You know what I mean? If we had the DVDs, it was the portable DVD players. I don't know if you
Yeah.
remember those.
I
with the
remember those.
storm, and that's how we would sell the DVDs if we had our custom DVDs. Like I think Quan Lee had some dope DVDs. I have a New York, the Kings of New York. It's on my wall, and it got me, A Mafia, Cortez, Shice Bub. We all on the cover. You know what I mean? And Quan Lee, and that went viral in the streets. You know what I mean? But these are the things that we did to like generate a buzz. Because it was hard to get in the industry. Like I said, if you weren't signed to a label or a strong independent label, it was kind of really hard. And people thought it was hate, but it was really just business. Like, what I learned on the other side of the fence, it was business. It's hard to break into something where it's already paid for, These slots were paid for already.
So now that we talked about that, when you look at what we have to deal with now, or what an independent artist has to deal, or a producer has to deal with in this era, right? Do you think they really estimated their industry literacy?
To an extent, possibly, because they flipped it on us. You know what I mean? Because it looked like freedom with the digital realm, but with the streaming rate, for example, it's a small percentage. You know what I mean? You're not even getting a penny per stream. So it's like you would have to sell 1 million streams to probably make a couple $1,000s. You know what I mean? It's like the ratio is crazy. But if I sold 1 million CDs in the street, I make $5 million, $10 million, depending on what the cost was. Or even the early start of streaming where iTunes was a thing, which is no longer. You could actually sell the digital downloads for $1, maybe make 70% off the split.
You can still sell it for $1.29.
But are people buying it?
I do.
I don't think that the masses are. It's not like what it was because they're so used to streaming and you could get things for free. You know what I mean? It's so out there,
But is it free if you're still paying $10 a month?
Yes. It's still free in the sense of your $10 a month is for unlimited access, right? But the artist you want to support, because you're not listening to every artist that's streaming with that $10, are you? You just listening to what you like or what's in your universe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the artist that you want, it's a tier system. That's how the streaming thing works. So basically, the most popular artists are getting the bigger percentage of the pie. So it's not about your support necessarily. It's about the numbers that you put up based on the whole pie. And a lot of it, the past couple years, is coming out with the fake numbers and the bots. They've been cheating the system since it started. And it's being exposed now. But it's been an uneven playing field. When it's divided in that system where it's like the popular gets the most, and it's not about necessarily your merit or your percentage. That's not a good system. It's really not. It should be revised, the streaming rates. It's not just even about raising it, but they need to change that whole split system because it's very uneven. It's not tiered right. Or my bad, Katie. If I'm,
Oh no, you're fine. I froze up. My computer froze up for a minute. My bad.
All right. I ain't gonna be too controversial, but
No, I like it though. I like it because that's the point of this. Like a lot of us come in and like they'll just talk about the music, but no one's here really actually talking about this shit.
But look, I'm gonna say this: the past, I want to say 2 years, right? Look at the artists, the big artists. The most recent, I would say J. Cole with the Fallout. What's he doing with his marketing campaign? He's literally in his old Honda selling CDs
for $1.
Right. Tangible. Obviously it's digital backing with it, but that is the premise. Cardi B did it.
Cardi did it too.
You know what I mean? So it's coming back in a different way, but it's coming back where it's like you are supporting the artist. You know what I mean? And that, that 1,000 fans you may get, that might be $10,000 depending on your package price. You know what I mean? That's incredible. You feel what I'm saying? good, good income to generate other things and reinvest in it, as opposed to making $100 off your 10,000 streams, in retrospect.
How much do you think the mainstream media really curates our culture now?
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
So, like, you hear the radio, right? Will play the same 10 to 15 songs,
Right.
right? Because that's what it proved by the powers that be, ads, and all of that. Like, whatever is currently raising the bar is what's acceptable. I guess, did I explain it better?
All right. So with that, they even changed that system. So before that, it was like Emis and Clear Channel. Those were
Mm-hmm.
like the two big companies that basically regulated radio stations, commercial radio. And in that, because like I said, I was music choice, so I understood the rules of the regular, we couldn't play a certain artist a certain amount of time within an hour. You couldn't play, a certain thing in a, it was spread out to be fair. They merged and then they got bought up by iHeartRadio. iHeartRadio is the parent company now of all the commercial. It's a monopoly now. It's not like two companies competing. And I believe they changed the regulations. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure because now, like you said, you can hear the same artist maybe 4 or 5 times. That used to be a law against that. You know what I mean? The only way they did play against that back then, and you thought it was that, they would play like a Lil Wayne record and then a record that Lil Wayne was featured on within the same hour. So you thought you heard Wayne multiple times in that hour, but it was really just them playing off the
The
actual.
feature.
He wasn't the lead artist, so they could play two other records that he was on. That's why the whole feature game was lucrative. If you understood that with radio, that's really why they did it, because they could break the rules within the Emis and Clear Channel regulations. It's all business. It wasn't really just about music. It was a business strategy too. And the ones that knew how to manipulate the system manipulated it very well. But now I don't think it's a rule like that. I believe, or they at least extended it where you could play maybe 2 or 3 times in an hour. Because, if not, they would be getting fined left and right.
I I just wish there could be sometimes a little bit more variety, as opposed to now playing the same song 2 to 3 times.
Well, that starts at the ground level. When I say the ground level, the people. So it's a business. So if the people were to either stop tuning into certain things or supporting what they like more instead of complaining about what they don't like, it would change the landscape of things. So you would support a DJ that's like that would support, variety or playing, newer artists or independent artists as opposed to the same 5, 10 big artists. If we support that more, things would change because it's a business structure. They're gonna go where the money's at. It's not nothing personal, what I mean, at the higher up level, I mean.
Yeah.
That's who's controlling the laws of this. What I mean? They looking where the money goes. And where the money comes from is where attention goes. Attention is the new currency. So the people have to have their power, stop complaining, because even when we complain, that's giving them money because this thing's called engagement. So when you arguing back and forth on a platform, guess what? They don't care what you're saying. You're engaging them and they're getting their checks anyway. So you literally have to support what you want. Do more of that. That's the solution. The people need to do that first. Figure out what you like and support that more. Get your galvanize it too. So tune in the Raw Zone. Katie shows you she get big up the big stories, the real stories of the unheard voices. This needs to be supported. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, everybody in this chat right now, share this link if y'all haven't done it already. Simple things like that, galvanizing it. You know what I mean? Because that would help bring awareness to it. And then people will be like, wait, I like this content. I'm going to support her. I'm going to subscribe. And I'm going to big up. If we do more of that, That's the true solution. It has to start from the ground up. Simple.
So I know I'm going like I'm talking about the future while I'm talking about the past, but we already talked a little bit about it. But where how did you and Sean Khan put together Triborough?
All right. 2005, I was in Baruch College, and I actually was staff at Baruch College Radio.
You did radio too? You did
Yes,
everything.
I did everything. Yes, I was WBNB. I was a programmer there. You know what I mean? That's how I got the job at Music Choice the next year in 2006. Because I had a background in radio. I ain't supposed to really say this, but I wasn't supposed to be hired because you're supposed to have a degree in communications. Unfortunately, I'm a college dropout. I don't have a degree, but as in life, I will tell you this. There's always ways around things because you may not have the credentials, but if you have the expertise and the know-how, that may be better than credentials in life. So I always tell young people this: develop a skill. You know what I mean? I always tell parents this. You know, I'm not a parent myself, but I encourage them. If you see your child likes things, foster that in them. You know what I mean? Because you never know what it could manifest to be later on in life. It becomes a skill as they're an adult, and then you can monetize things as. I mean, I see kids nowadays monetizing their skills. You know what I mean? So I can't even say an adult. You know what I mean? Some of these kids streaming now and doing the video games and getting money from that. There's so many ways you can make money in this world. Doing what you love. It is not even quote unquote work. You know what I mean? That should be the key for everybody. Find what you love and monetize it. You know what I mean? Get good at it first, obviously, but then monetize it. You know
It's
what I mean?
just so crazy how like you're talking about how you've done so well dropped out of school. My sister has been in IT since 99, right?
Okay.
And she never went to college. She was working as an ER reg with my mom. And
Um,
then she's here working for McAfee, all of these companies. I'm like, oh shit. Even me with photography, I didn't go to school for photography. I went for history for my bachelor's, and then I did my master's in communications and in public relations because I had
I,
all of that other skill in the back.
I got a homegirl. She got a master's degree. And I remember before when she finished school, it took her like 2 years to even get a decent job that matched her skill set. And during
I'm
that
still looking
time,
for one.
I was making more than her. A college dropout. You feel what I'm saying? Who's doing what he loved to do, not quote unquote working for a living. You feel what I'm saying? Even though what I do, I consider a job, a full-time job, but you know it's about your skills and who you know. You know what I mean? It's relationships. Because even me getting the interview at Music Choice, it was because of a relationship. The vice president was college buddies with my uncle. You know what I mean? That's how I got the interview. That's what got me in the room. And then me being in the room, I was able to sell myself and my skills. And I'm gonna keep it a buck. When I was at that interview, I had my CD in my hand. I didn't think I would get the job. I'm like, there's no way, they're gonna take a kid from the Bronx. I got no history of doing radio at all outside of college radio. And I'm not shaming college radio, but I only did a year. I did 2 semesters and dropped out. I didn't have a degree in communications, nothing like that. So it's like, how would this kid be hired? You feel what I'm saying? When there's other people with more credentials and more expertise than me in the field. But it was me selling myself, you know what I mean? And I had the skills that the job acquired, you know what I mean? Editing, audio, for example. That's something I did at leisure, you know what I mean? Making radio edits and stuff. That was something I did at leisure for years. I knew how to do that. And that was one of the required skills. I'm like, I do that, doing metadata. I was doing that just being an artist, putting out my own music independently, learning the streaming world that I was stepping into, But back to Triborough real quick. Let me finish
Yeah.
that story. So I was at college radio, and it was one day I was basically not in class, so I was home that day. But it was a new record I was gonna get played. Shout to my manager at the time, Bella, aka Unique. She had her own show called Breaking Records, with Matic, who's also a world-renowned engineer. He was A Boogie's engineer, very accomplished engineer. Y'all could do y'all research on Matic from Brooklyn. Extremely dope. They had a show. I'm basically listening for myself, and I heard Sean Carn being played. I'm like, oh, first song. I'm like, I like homie voice. It kind of remind me of me. You know what I mean? Like voice wise, not flow wise, but just the voice wise.
Voice wise, I definitely saw that when I was listening to the last song.
Yeah, and I'm like, all right, especially younger days. Me and him really had the similar voice tone, and second song, I'm like, oh nah, he fire, yo. I ain't gonna front. I text Bella, I'm like, yo, get his contact before he leave. I like this guy. Then he started talking, and I just hear the hip hop in him. I'm like, nah, he's experienced. This guy's dope. I'm basically 20 years old, you know what I mean? And I'm just coming into myself as an artist, you know what I mean? Even though I've been doing it for a while, I felt like in my 20s, that's when it really kicked off seriously, you know what I mean? So she got his contact, and basically, I think I called them that day, maybe the next day. And you know, by the grace of God, we set up a collab. And back in the day, it was like pulling up on somebody. It wasn't sending a session or sending a song. You would book the session together. So I invited him to the house. He came from Queens, came to the house. He had hip hop chef DR with him. At the time, I knew him as Daddy Rich. You know what I
Daddy
mean?
what?
Daddy Rich. Daddy Rich. I don't know if you remember the 1970s movie The Wash.
Partially.
Daddy Rich was a character in that movie. You know what I mean? He was a character in it, but that's basically his nickname. You know what I mean? So, but DR, that's who he's known by, hip hop chef DR, which is Daddy Rich. So we did a freestyle. It was dope. Unbeknownst to me, Khan gets to play it for Fresh Air at the time, who they're related. DR is half brothers with Fresh Air. That's the connection. And DR is Sean Khan's first cousin. I didn't know this at the time. You feel what I'm saying? I knew DR, was his manager. That's how I met them at first. You know what I mean? And then I got an invite from DR probably a month after doing the joint to come through a sit down. You know what I mean? And we had a whole round table meeting. It was about, I want to say, 20 of us at BBQs on the Upper East Side. And from that meeting, he wanted to basically make a coalition of artists, writers, producers, people that supporting each other. It didn't really manifest. However, we pitched names in the hat of what the group should be. And rest in peace to Mr. Me. He actually gave the name Triborough the Squad. And that name stuck for what would eventually become the group Triborough, which was ELUS, myself, Sean Carn, and Fresh Air. I'm from the Bronx. Sean Carn's from Queens. Fresh Air is from Harlem. That's why the Triborough, just like the bridge. The same year we were formed, the Triborough Bridge was renamed to the RFK Bridge.
RFK.
This is an actual fact. You could check this out. The same year we got formed, it got changed. The name got changed. I mean, if you old school New York, you still call it the Triborough Bridge, but it was renamed to the RFK Bridge. So
Is it still the RFK or didn't change it back?
they might have changed it back. We kind of fell back as a group, so they might have, you know what I mean? But while we was running it, it was RFK Bridge. I ain't gonna hold you. When we was a group, it was just the powers that be. They renamed that bridge. That's a fact. Because we was a group for 10 years to 2015. So shout out to Daddy Rich for seeing that vision. It wasn't his full vision as far as like the group. He wanted a conglomerate, but us just coming together, basically it formed into Triborough. You know what I mean? We never seen that. We was all solo artists. So I hats off to DR for seeing that vision of putting it together like that. Word.
So you did just say that you've been in a collective for 10 years. What have you learned from that experience? Because you went from being a solo artist to working in a collective to then do everything you're doing now.
I mean, I started in rap crews before Triborough, so I kind of always work with different artists. Plus, being an engineer, it was naturally in me to work with artists and just understand artists. So it was a transition. But being in a group kind of it made it easier, to be honest, because I wouldn't have to work on a full record. I might have to just do a verse, you know what I mean, maybe do a verse and a hook, and that's it. Back then it was 3 verses, you know what I mean, for one artist. Like, that was like the standard, you know what I mean. So it was less writing needed. It was different ideas being taught, so it was like you could feed off each other. So even my freestyle ability that you pointed out, Fresh Air is a way better freestyler than me. Hats off to Fresh Air. I will always give him his flowers. He actually got me to be a good freestyler because I was strictly, a writer. That's what I started with, poetry first. You know what I mean? That's what got me out my shell, though, the freestyle. To the point I became known as freestyling, but I didn't start like that. You know what I mean? I'm a nerd first. Like, I started from that. I come from here first, my brain. So, I have to see it first and plan it. Word.
How competitive was it to be in a collective? Like, were there ever times you ever wanted to one up each other in a
Every
lyrical way?
every single track we've done, every single track, I'm pretty sure that's how we approached it. Still sharp and still. And it wasn't a negative thing. I'm sure Sean Carr in this chat right now. It wasn't a negative thing. It was just basically like, oh, were you doing that? Bet I'm gonna do this. That's the hip hop we came up from. You know what I mean? You do that, I'm gonna do this. You know what I mean? It wasn't, and it came together with great synergy. That energy. You know what I mean? And Fresh Air, he had one up on us back then. He could do the harmonies and sing a bit too. I kind of developed that a little bit later on, but Sean Cohen taught me song structure more so, because he came from like producers and people that actually structure him. I'm coming from ciphers from the block and just rapping. You know what I mean? That was my skill set. You know what I mean? But it made us better. I see Sean Cohen wrote in the chat. It made us better. That's a fact. Word up. And Listen Up is an example of that. I see Quan, you put it up. You played that video. Funny thing is, that record started as a joke. You know what I mean? Because exactly how you hear the record is exactly how we wrote it. So Fresh Air starts it off. He had his verse done. So at the end of it, Melissa Ford, he said you could got one ear, 2 jaws, so you could talk less and listen more. So I'm jokingly like, Melissa Ford. Then I'm like, oh shit, yo, what if I just use what you said at the end and start my rhyme like that? Melissa Ford got a body banging. Wouldn't mind if I could probably bang her. It was like, I thought he said that at the end and I merged it into that. And then that's how Khan wrote his verse. That's literally how you hear it, is how we wrote the record. In that order, too. Facts.
So I think this is a request. I have never seen ELUS perform Listen Up verse in full.
See, I don't know if I know the whole verse. Hold
on. If we know, come on.
I said Melissa Ford got a body banging. Wouldn't mind if I could probably bang her. Now let's rearrange it. I'm zoning to a beat produced by my dude, yo. Real name like mine, but don't share the same pseudo. See, I'm ELUS, and he said Uno, and the 3 brothers on it is known as TB Roll. See, that's when they get blurry. Life is a movie, no chance of a sequel. It's a bar before that I missed. See, my bad, yo. I smoke so much weed and it's sorry, guys. I'm sorry, man. I wasn't ready. Quan put me on the spot, man. I will always freestyle. See, back there I would be kicking a freestyle off the top. I was really trying to remember the verse though. But
he told me I wasn't allowed to make him freestyle and put him on the spot, so I had to do it to somebody.
Word.
He just gave me the alley-oop for it.
But that line I said, real name like mine, but don't share the same pseudo.
Yeah.
The producer's name is Malik. My real name is Malik too. So real name like mine, but don't say the same pseudo. See, I'm a loose and he said Uno. So it was like a subliminal, but only we knew what I was talking about. You feel what I'm saying? I used to always rhyme like that where it was like really cryptic, where if you really knew what I was talking about, then you like, wow, that was actually fire. But surface level, it sounds good. You know what I mean? But that's how I write. It's multi-layered, you know, a lot of my bars. You know, it's not just one meaning behind what I say.
So, a couple of comments came up in here once again about the Guinness Book of World Records. Did you got like first? I need that explained because I heard it a lot today. And then, what kind of cultural movement do you feel like Tribal set for what, as far as the standard of independent hip hop now?
Well, the Guinness World Record, we got the Hip Hop Culture Center. It was right in the Magic Johnson movie theater on the second floor. I believe now it's an African restaurant now, believe it or not. But back then it was the Hip Hop Culture Center. And I'll describe that place as literally like a church for hip hop. You know what I mean? It was incredible. And basically we participated in the world's longest rap cipher, promoting positivity through hip hop, not promoting violence or degrading women. And my team was basically considered the best team there. It was like a relay race. Every hour, a different team would come on stage and rap for an hour. It'll probably be about 8 to 10 MCs per team. And I'm not gonna lie, myself and my tribal members, we stayed for damn near the whole 24 hours, and we was on, no funny shit, at least 5 or 6 teams, because some people didn't show up, or you know, it was like low numbers on certain teams. So we was hopping on other teams too and just doing what we do. That's how we met a lot of MCs. That year, the first year, one of the artists I remember was Charles Hamilton. He was part of it. You know, Nicolette, what was the kid named? TJ. He was under Chris Brown. He was signed to Chris Brown later on in life. It was a lot of dope talent. You know, D Nasty. You know what I mean? He's a legend now in the underground. I believe he still holds down the Union Square ciphers. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Every Friday, he does that. You know, but you know, back then he was a young high school kid we met. You know, Conan. You know, Homeboy Sandman. There's so many artists that Hassan Salam. You know, some of these names you may know, some of them you don't, but trust me, these are legends. I'm naming you. You guys could do your research. You know what I mean? But incredible MCs. You know, that was an incredible year. I believe it was 2006 that when we did it, or maybe 7 when we did the first rapathon. But it was dope, very dope. Yep, I see Quan. He said we had an app as well. We had an app. I was going live on YouTube 15 years ago before live was like even a thing. See how you played the video and stuff?
Yeah.
I don't know if you went to one of my old YouTubes and dug, but I still have those sessions up. I could send it to you. I was doing that 15 years ago, y'all. Real talk.
I
Baby.
actually have one. I have a Sean Khan video, Sean Khan song that a recent one you did with him.
Okay.
And I also have When Opportunity Knocks, so I could play those.
Okay.
Because I had one more video for you, so we could get into these two.
An Opportunity Knocks, that's on platforms too. I actually revised that mix and put it on platforms, so you could actually hear that song and stream it. This year, I will be revitalizing some of my old music and putting it on platforms. I don't know if I'm gonna be doing new music, but I'm definitely giving y'all some of this old catalog because it's a lot that the world hasn't heard, you know, and it's a disgrace to hip hop. Hip hop deserves to hear some of this music.
Before we get into When Opportunity Knocks, right? Can we get into the on the show mixtapes? Because it's gonna correlate into my last question about the past.
That's my classic mixtape series, my solo mixtape series. I did 3 volumes of that on with the show series. I think each mixtape may have been 24, 25 tracks. You know what I mean? Damn near every track had a feature on it. You know, I don't work with everybody on that joint. Shout to Goods the Animal. He's a well-known legendary battle rapper. He was on it. You know what I mean? You know, Frank Rams, underground MC, crazy nice. You know what I mean? Obviously Tribal. I think they was on all three of mine's. You know what I mean? But that was my mixtape series. The first one we sold about 20,000 in the street, 20,000 copies in the street. Now, you know, looking at it now, you know, with the streaming numbers, it's probably like, oh, 20,000 is not crazy. No, 20,000 physical copies
at like $10, $15 each is a lot.
Exactly. You know, that was one of my boys. He was selling it. Shout to Juno. That was his full-time job. Real talk. I was working Music Choice. I would give him probably 100, 200 CDs to flip. By lunchtime, he'd be done. You feel what I'm saying? We having lunch together. You feel what I'm saying? Breaking bread.
Nice Snapple hoodie.
Job. Shout to Snapple Clothing. You know what I mean? Shout to my boy
D Dave.
You know what I mean? You know, I'm always repping my peoples. You know what I mean? That's a
Is
fact.
that peach or pink?
It's orange actually. You know, I'm in the dark.
Very nice.
Orange and black. You know what I mean? Word. Yep, Heat was outside. Heat moved everything, but you know, we ain't gonna talk about that on live. But yes, Heat definitely moved my tapes. Not as much as Juno, though. Juno got the record books for that. I ain't gonna front it. Like I said, it was his full-time job. Heat was dibbling dabbling with everything, but you know, Heat got me out there. My joint got so crazy, it got bootlegged on Fordham, which to me was an honor. You know what I mean? I know it probably sound crazy, but that's a sign to me that, you know, you're buzzing in the streets. You know, I got bootleg, so that was a tremendous accomplishment to me as an independent artist. Word.
If you could revisit that time period and bring some of that essence today, what would you bring in? How would you amplify it?
Say it one more time. Say the question one more time.
If you could take elements of your Tribal era, the On the Show mixtape era, and everything that made you into the artist, and bring it and combine it with who you are now, what would you bring and how would you, I guess, 2.0 it?
I believe I'm doing that in the form of being a manager for artists. I think that was your segue for me to promote my artists. But shout to Bianca.
Actually, it wasn't, because I thought you were going to tell me something completely different, but that works.
No. I thought it was. That's why I was like, oh, you're a genius for that. But literally everything I've been through is what makes me a good manager for artists. You know what I mean? For years, I've been asked to be managers, even when I was actively, you know, pushing as an artist. And you know, I've denied it. I don't want to be a manager. I met this girl at 18 years old. You know what I mean? And you know, she had, you know, she was incredible. Like, you know what I mean? I seen potential in her. You know, and you know, her name back then was BXO. And I didn't change her name probably to a year in, but you know, I just seen that was too local. I was just like, yeah, we gotta change the name up. Her actual government name is Bianca. So I kind of changed the spelling on it, B.ANKHA, Bianca. And it's a Japanese word too, Banka, that means shy, beautiful girl. You know, B.A. with the Ankh in the middle. That's the, you know, Ankh is basically for life, the symbol for life. It's a whole acronym to it. Plus, it's a play on her name too, phonetically. So, you know, I pretty much changed her BXO to Bianca. But everything I've learned, my pitfalls, my stumbles, my mistakes, even my messed up deal, what to watch for, you know, I fed that to her. Even my engineering skills. She's an engineer now. She records her own music. A lot of what y'all hear, you know, if y'all follow her, you know, Bianca is the truth. You'll see the spelling B.ANKHA. You know, she records, I would say 70% of her music nowadays. You know, I'm still basically the lead mixer behind it, but you know, she's grown tremendously, you know, where it's like autonomous. You know, I don't have to micromanage her. I literally gave her flowers this morning. I was telling her I appreciate her so much. You know, a lot of what, you know, because I may not be the most easiest person to deal with, you know what I mean? But she gets me, you know. She's one of those humans that, you know, it's just she just understands, and we just move like that in tandem. So it's refreshing when it's no friction and somebody just understands you, you know. So I appreciate her tremendously. But that's what it was for, you know, to make her journey more easier, you know what I mean, more comfortable, you know what I mean, for her to be who she's destined to become.
So we definitely gonna segue into that, but let's play When Opportunity Knocks, because I have the video.
Produced
And
by
then
my man CD, you know what I mean?
And then I have a little tribal reunion with Con Genius Air Nation.
Okay.
So we're going to get into this little mix. And then we're going to come back and then talk more about the greatness that is ELUS. This is Welcome to the Raw Zone on our website, www.rawzonenyc.com, Booster 82.3 FM, and the Evening Rush Radio Network. Let's get into this.
USO 82.3 FM, where the independent artists are now streaming on all smart TVs. Just add the Live 365 channel and search PUSO. PUSO 82.3 FM, where the independent artists are the stars.
Opportunity. That's one thing hard to find inside my community. Still I'm doing me. Not waiting for my time, cause it'll only come if I grind. So I keep going like I never see stop signs. I dare nigga hating to stop mine, I shine. I could recline, I'm already in top 5. But some niggas listen if they honest with their shit. Or maybe you ain't listen to me. Cause if you heard E, then you likely agree that I'm a part of the elite. If this your introduction to me, just wait and see. Considered king of the jungle, but I ain't lying. Hits in my sleep with no trying. Soon as CDs release, they gon' buy it. More fans, I'm in demand, so I supply them that crack. Shit, I'm a whole different breed. You might know my name, get to know my steez. Might have seen me at a show, heard a nigga flow or cop my CD. I'm world famous at being unknown. When opportunity knocks, nobody ain't home. Knock, knock. Who is it? Opportunity, well, what do you know? I've been recluse, studying the game from afar. It's a loose, I could change the game with a ball. The audience and alls, I recall saw George dropping. Another hit, I'm Bernard Hopkins. Spitting audio crack, I got the law watching. Here to set the record straight from the false prophets. Telling lies in the booth just to gain profit. Ain't hard to tell, we ain't the same breed. You copping, guess I'm Dwayne Reed. Hip-hop savior, really what the game needs. I do it for my soul, not the gangrene. Success up the road, feel like I got gangrene. I'm not moving, but consistently grinding. Patiently waiting, leave it up to timing. Question, how long I got? I keep on going till I'm on the top. I won't stop, let's rock. I'm a whole different breed. You might know my name, get to know my steez. Might have seen me at a show, heard a nigga flow or cop my CD. I'm world famous at being unknown. When opportunity knocks, nobody ain't home. Knock, knock, who is it? Opportunity, well, what do you know? Somebody's knocking at my door. I've been through this shit before. Allow me to tell you what's in store. I'm taking over. Somebody's knocking at my door. I've been through this shit before. Allow me to tell you what's in store. Glad to have you over. I'm a whole different breed. You might know my name, get to know my steez. Might have seen me at a show, heard a nigga flow or cop my CD. I'm world famous at being unknown. When opportunity knocks, nobody ain't home. knock. Who is it? Opportunity, well, what do you know? Somebody's knocking at my door. I've been through this shit before. Allow me to tell you what's in store. I'm taking over. Somebody's knocking at my door. I've been through this shit before. Allow me to tell you what's in store. Glad to have you over. Opportunity. Knock, knock. Who is it? Opportunity, well, what do you know?
Long time it ain't done.
He's a genius.
Shut up! We came up overnight. Niggas from saying nothing. Try bro, push the button, that long shit. Ew. Long time it ain't none of us. Got no time for that dumb shit. We out here doing numbers. Try bro. Ew. We came up overnight. Niggas from saying nothing. Try bro, push the button, that long shit. Ew. Long time it ain't none of us. Got no time for that dumb shit. Still here doing numbers. Try bro. Ew.
You know double O, James Bond flow. On my ape shit, the way Congo, Kanzan, I'm a savage with a bad bitch. Gobble time above average, the stick disappear like magic. I put the C in the confidence, music that bounce through the continents. You be a fool if you better get the tri-barrel, nigga, now you facing the consequence. We the greatest. That bomb shit, TTG to the grave site. Blood and bones like a cage fight. Niggas shook, they got stage fright. Be the heat, we the lava pit. Find any beat and we body it. Culture cuisine, Bronx, Harlem, Queens. You know hip-hop embodiment. In a world full of those haters, hoes, hustlers, and players, I'ma tell you like a nigga told me. Tri-Borough's the greatest.
We came up overnight. Niggas from saying nothing. Tri-Borough push the button, that long shit. Ew. Long time it ain't none of us. Got no time for that dumb shit. We out here doing numbers. Tri-Borough. Ew. We came up overnight. Niggas from saying nothing. Tri-Borough push the button, that long shit. Ew. Long time it ain't none of us. Got no time for that dumb shit. Still here doing numbers. Doing numbers like let them in. Kick down the door if they won't let them in. All I know is go hard. I swear to God, I ain't with the settling. Out the way, no meddling. I'm in the race, no medal wins. Believe me, to breathe easy. I'm praying for better wins. Yeah. Toting no gas, I put the beat in the cast. I really be speaking the facts. Tri-Borough connect. Salute when you show them respect. My borough ends with the X. Wakanda forever, I'ma keep stacking the cheddar. Don't matter who better. What? I'ma hold strings and pulling the lever. Go. Bullshit, no Porsches. Right. I want the whole pie. Casual cash. Shit coming in with no time. Straight out the gate, my bank account straight. And nose dive, candle lit, know the flow 5. Tri-Borough back 4-5. Whoa. We came up overnight. Niggas from saying nothing. Tri-Borough push the button, that long shit. Ew. Long time it ain't none of us. Got no time for that dumb shit. We out here doing numbers. Tri-Borough. Ew. We came up overnight. Niggas from saying nothing. Tri-Borough push the button, that long shit. Ew. Long time it ain't none of us. Got no time for that dumb shit. Still here doing numbers. Tri-Borough. Ew.
Fresh. Suck my dick for the fuck of it. Middle finger up the government. Long barrel at the ops, licking shots. Hope to catch a couple double mitts. Cause I'm bubbling hard dick. The A chick that ever fell in love with me. Now that's your problem. Why you fucking me? I'm on a whole nother level. I'm hoping you niggas catch up to me. Come on. It's burn Hollywood burn. If it was all up to me. But my story is black and white. I'm an acolyte with an appetite. Never all the smoke and I got the light. And I end the war, I don't start the fight. I'm pulling up and I'm pulling out. Showing up and I'm showing out. Rolling up and I'm rolling out. Going in and I'm going out like a soldier. More like a general, I'm striped out. Body bags, nigga, lights out. Niggas fiending with their pipes out. Her type of time, nigga, lifestyle.
We came up overnight. Niggas from saying nothing. Tri-Borough push the button, that long shit. Ew. Long time it ain't none of us. Got no time for that dumb shit. We out here doing numbers. Tri-Borough. Ew. We came up overnight. Niggas from saying nothing. Tri-Borough push the button, that long shit. Ew. Long time it ain't none of us. Got no time for that dumb shit. Still here doing numbers. Tri-Borough. Ew.
You're now listening to the Evening Rush Network.
It's so difficult doing this from a little MacBook.
No, you doing good though. Word.
We back though. This is Welcome to the Raw Zone. We here celebrating and giving the man, the myth, the legend, his flowers, right? Because we be talking about giving the flowers, but we don't actually give the flowers. So we're giving the flowers to our guy here.
I appreciate you.
He's been setting these trends. He did the marathon, the rapathon.
Mm-hmm.
He's in a period in his life now. You took a major win for artists and engineers in New York. I was talking about it with Chuck when you got the Grammy for engineering the song off Nas's project. First of all, what the fuck?
I didn't even mention that. So I co-engineered the definition. I actually mixed Brucey B vocals on that record with Nas. It was off the King's Disease album, which Nas won the Grammy for, his very first Grammy. When I did it, I didn't even realize it was going to be on his album. I thought it was just going to be a one-off tribute. Then it was on his album. I'm like, oh, that's dope. And then like 6 months later, it got nominated for a Grammy. Oh, word, that's extra dope. So it was like progressions of it. But when I did it, it was just pure hip hop. You know what I mean? Shout to Brucey B. You know what I mean? And you know, it was just incredible. Honor to be part of history. Word. Real talk.
Like, what was going through your mind as this progression kept happening?
Well, once it got nominated, I'm like, oh, I hope he win. Like, you feel what I'm saying? It became surreal then. When it got on the album, I'm just like, oh, that's dope. Like, it, you know, I'm not saying it like that, but it was just like, all right, that's dope. You know what I mean? But the Grammy, that's a height I've never reached. You feel what I'm saying? One, never to be nominated, and especially never to win. So it's just like to be a part of a winning album like that, you know, and really contributed. Shout to James Cruz, his lead engineer. We actually befriended each other after that, had good conversations and stuff like that. But it's just incredible, you know. Like I said, I'm self-taught. I didn't go to school for this. For that progression from my mother's basement to make it to Grammy recognition is surreal, you know, and it's like a culmination of all that years of hard work and dedication, you know, coming to fruition, you know, because that, you know, that was a huge accomplishment, you know.
Do you feel like getting that Grammy win changed how certain artists approach you in this business?
I think it was kind of changing before that because of who I was working with, but the Grammy thing just kind of was like the icing on the cake. But you know, my reputation's been I'm too expensive, or you know, I'm always booked. You know, that's been my reputation for years. Is it true?
Well deserved.
Could be. You know what I mean? At some point, it was definitely difficult to get access to me, but price wise, I'm pretty comparable to other professional studios. You know, I don't try to up it. Even when I won the Grammy, I didn't increase my rate, you know, astronomically, and I try to keep it within the competitive rates of other professional studios. You know.
And you got to work with big names like Jim Jones. I remember you told me when we had you on Raw Zone the first time that you had an experience with French Montana.
Yes, that taught me professionalism in 2001. You know.
You know, and it gets to me sometimes too because I remember thinking back on that story that you told me, and I remember like I was so worried like when I had Akon come in our studio, and I'm like, guys, this place cannot smell like butt. I can't. No. Like he might get up and walk away. Ever since you told me that story, I always got mad scared.
Yeah. And he probably was like lighted. Shout to Akon though. Word up.
Bro, so it was like balls fuck degrees, and he came with his artist.
Mm-hmm.
So there was already enough people in here. I'm like, yo, imagine now if it bombed like Weed 2. it would have been a little unbearable.
No, I got you. Yeah, that we definitely increased the temperature though. That's
But
why they call it hot boxing.
when our truth came though, and he's like, "Oh, can I roll up?" Like his manager too. I'm like, "Oh, damn! I could have just smoked and it wouldn't have been a problem."
But it's good that you had that precedent just in case. You know what I mean? It's always good to let it lead into that. You know what I mean? But don't have it forced on them because even if they do smoke, they might be in a. I don't even want to be around it right now. You know what I mean? Artists are moody. You never know, what type of day or time they might be on. So you meet them where they at.
And also when you're doing like a professional thing, like I remember we used to smoke on this. Like maybe when we talk about wrestling and do the viewing party, they're a little more lax and we'll like smoke. But like when it comes to Raw Zone now, like I can't sit there and have my blunt on camera.
I definitely was, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you every time, Katie. While you were showing those 2 videos, I definitely was smoking. I ain't gonna hold you. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, listen,
My
we all
camera
do
was
it,
off,
but
though.
that's why we all do that though. Like I had a cigarette, like like it's good to take those breaks, but I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I'm gonna pass it right now to you, bro. Excuse me. Who was your favorite to be that you have worked with as far as the accolades, the people you've admired?
I'm definitely gonna say my cousin Heat. He was the first artist I've ever recorded, and our synergy is incredible. That's even though he's my first cousin, we more like brothers. You know what I mean? So he's probably the fun, especially his creative energy. You never know what you're gonna get with him and stuff like that. So I would definitely shout out Heat. Many people know him for different reasons in life, but he's never put out music himself. Surprisingly, even though he was the first artist I recorded, but he's definitely known by a lot of my clients and just even outside of my clients. He's a very, very, very his charisma is high. You know what I mean? People like him. In whatever field he's in.
So, what? Man, you already made my points when we talked about Bianca, but
Again, word up.
so being that you had all of this faith and like I remember the beginning era of you managing Bianca, um you also at one point split the responsibility of her management, with J Hatch. How did that come about?
First of all, rest in peace to J Hatch.
Rest in peace to J Hatch.
Me and him, we had a 25-year relationship. You know what I mean? He knew me when I was younger, loose. I knew him when he was, doing showcases at the Remote Lounge. You know what I mean? Him and his partner at the time, Shalant. They used to do showcases and stuff. I knew him when he started into that world. Sidebar, at one point he was supposed to be my manager. Little known fact, but we didn't manifest it, and it's just crazy how it came full circle. But basically, to answer your question, he had a song camp. That's basically where he gets artists and producers together, and they collab and work on a record in a time manner. Like I believe they get like 30 minutes to create. You know, they get the beat prior, but then they only have 30 minutes to create in the studio. And it's like a round robin situation. Everybody goes. And I told Bianca, I say, I want you a part of this. I want you to meet Hatch. You know what I mean? I know once he hears you, he's gonna, definitely see what I see. You know what I mean? So she did it. At the end of it, she told me she was leaving. So I hit Hatch up. I texted him. I was just like, so what you thought about Bianca? You know what I mean? He was like, yo, she's a star, bro. You got one. You know what I mean? Then the next day he actually hit me. He was like, yo, E, can I talk to you when you got a minute? So he hit me up on the phone, and basically he was just, long story short, he was humbly asking me. He was like, I I would love to co-manage with you. You know what I mean? I definitely could help your situation, and you know, at the same time, you could, because he's way more experienced in the management side than I am. You know what I mean? He's managed artists and producers for, I want to say, 18 years at that time. You know what I mean? Experience wise. And I'm like, yeah, it'd be an honor. And I jokingly said to him, it's like, it's funny, it's full circle now. You know what I mean? You know, I didn't get to be your artist, but you get to help co-manage my artist. This is crazy. I never thought I'd be a manager. So it's just like, it's just hilarious how, you know, things manifest. So that's basically how that happened, you know. He had my blessing. I spoke to Bianca on it. You know, she was definitely she took a liking to Hatch instantly at the song camp. She seen how hard he worked, how dedicated he was, and you know, Bianca's very smart, very analytical. You know, like I said, I pretty much got to tell her things maybe one time. She gets it. It's not like, you know what I mean? Like, she's been here before, for real. So rest in peace to Jay Hatch, man.
No, seriously.
F cancer. Word up. That's the campaign.
Like, I remember he was supposed to do speak at one of my events, and it was right before my birthday. And that's when he just had got, like, found out. I guess he was going through the process of him having the cancer again.
Yeah. Because he had, you know, he was in remission. He was in remission.
Yeah.
You know, he was doing well, you know. Crazy.
You know, but to see the impact he made on so many people.
Absolutely.
You know, it's crazy.
Absolutely.
And it's always the good people. So rest in peace, Jay Hatch. Thank you for everything you've done.
Yes.
And
I hope I'm making you proud, brother. Every day I'm getting more and more organized. You know, that's his thing, organization. That was one of the things that
I felt that.
You know, even to the point, I'm gonna tell you this, like, you know how your email, you use Gmail. What do you use? Gmail?
Yeah.
You open up your Gmail, you know, the average person has their emails. You see the emails, you know what I mean? There. His is empty. Empty. Like, it was so organized how he had it. It's like once you open up that inbox, it was empty, yo. I never seen nothing like that. And I'm like, yo, where's it at? And it's like he had subfolders and stuff like that and important folders hidden, but it was like his inbox was empty. And he was with checking it every morning. Like, it was just,
that's diabolical.
Like, incredible. I never, you know what I mean? I never seen that like that. He's one of the most organized persons I've ever known. Like, word. So that's my thing. I'm trying to just step on if I could get to half where he was at, I'm accomplished. Real talk. He was incredibly organized. Like, I never seen nothing like that. That just amazed me, yo. Word up.
Working with him, what did you learn the most about artist development that many find, like, hard to understand?
It was more validation because, you know, I was probably like 6-7 years into management, but basically, you know, it's a process. It is give and take. You know, you don't always have the answers, and that's okay. You know what I mean? Sometimes you know, gotta figure it out, and sometimes you gotta readjust too, reanalyze the plan. You have a plan, and you know, you might need adjusting. You know, it might not work as the plan is devised. So it was just validation in that, because I looked at that like, damn, I'm failing, but that's part of the process sometimes, you know. Because you know, you're also battling life and real things, you know, so readjusting, and even his life is a testament to that. You know, we had to readjust, you know. She's still on his on her IG page, he's still co-managed, you know. It's no removing. He's always going to be a co-manager in her life. I know he's watching over her, and I know, you know, I hope we're making him proud, you know. But I feel we are. I feel he is proud. And
I mean, that project Bianca put out recently, Bloom season was, oh my god, that was just next level.
The Thank God for Another 24, the last record on the album, that's a tribute to Hatch.
Yeah.
You know, she wrote that. Basically the day she heard him pass, the next day she wrote that record, and I think the following day we went to the studio and recorded it.
Like you could really feel everything in that album. Like
It's
she really
honest.
resonated.
It's honest, and you see her growth too, vocally.
Oh
As
yeah.
a woman, you know what I mean? Her insight, like it's full growth. I'm very proud of her, yo.
I love that she also didn't do what a lot of artists do and put the other singles that were already out. Like I love that it was all new music.
Oh yeah. She
You know,
loves to create, so she wouldn't be having that. And I let her lead with the creation. I just got it. She's the engine behind this shit. So I let her lead with that creation part, and I tell her embrace that as we independent, embrace that creative side. I actually, keep it a buck. I told her this year I want her to focus more on just pure creation. Let me focus on this business. Don't even struggle on thinking on that. Just focus on the creation. Get your content, your music. That's it. Like, just trust the process, because ultimately I see that's her winning. That's going to be the winning element to it. As long as she's consistent putting stuff out, it's a compounding effect. You know what I mean? And it's been like that for years, like since we started, and her recognition is, in the city especially, is definitely well rewarded. Even bigger platforms are starting to hit us up and welcome them us in. Some of them was charging and opening the doors for us. God is good. Just appreciate all the support and the love that we get for Bianca, because she definitely puts in that hard work. Right.
what is the difference between being talented and being legendary, and where do you see yourself in the scale of talent and legendary?
Hmm.
Bum bum bum.
Well, I mean, talent is something talent is something you'll build up to. You'll build up to being talented, or you could be born with talent. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just in you. And being legendary is something you got to work towards. You know what I mean? It's literally what you put out, your output, what you've done with that talent. You know what I mean? That's what makes you legendary. You know what I mean? It's the work you put in. Because you can be talented, but if you didn't put the work in, unfortunately, as talented as you are, you're not legendary. So the work is what speaks for your legendary status. And it's not you that will tell it. It'll be other people that validate your work. That's a true sign of a legend. If you the only person that's, telling your accolades, then, you still got work to do.
So my final question of the night, right? When it's all said and done, what will the legacy of the kind genius be remembered for?
I mean, I'm still writing my story. I can't answer that right now, because 10 years ago I might have told you from a rapper perspective. 10 years before that, it might have been from a DJ perspective. You know what I mean? Now it could be from management. Um in the future, it's probably going to be a culmination of everything. You know what I mean? So I can't tell you that, because it's still being written. Like I told you, but when we started this interview, my gift and curse, I'm never really satisfied. This year I plan on launching a TV show. That's one of my next endeavors. I'm getting into the film and TV industry. Um, I'll be starting with public access, and also on YouTube. And just growing from that. But sky's the limit. As long as I'm breathing and my brain works, who knows? What that story would be. Like, to be honest, I couldn't tell you. I wish I could, but I'm enjoying the show just like you are.
I hope it wasn't that loud this time, but thank you so much, hon, for sitting down with me. The only person that got me in my investigative bag.
Nah, my fault. I put you to work. I just wanted to
Listen,
see what
man,
she found.
it was
You know,
fun.
like, it was just dope to me. I'm like, let me see what she found out. Like, where?
It was fun because I didn't want to keep asking you. Like, that was my thing. I'm like, yo, I refused. I would tell Quan, I refuse to ask this man a damn thing. I'm literally going on some, like, hey, I'm texting Chuck, I'm texting Dave, I'm texting somebody. I'm here bothering Coney at work, like, yo, bro, what do I do? Like, he brought up, like, there's so many things to bring up, like the show, the Cypher era, the pyramid shows, all of that.
That's why I
Literally,
say I can't tell you what the legacy will be. Like, it's it's gonna be a multitude. It's gonna be a jambalaya of accomplishments. A jambalaya of accomplishments. That's fire.
ooh,
That's
that
a
sounds
fact.
yummy.
Word. That's fire though, but it's real shit.
So what is next for you?
Well, the TV show. That's the next endeavor. You know what I mean? I haven't launched it yet. I'm actually finalizing the format of it. It's gonna be an hour format, 56 minutes for the TV constraints, but on YouTube it'll be like an hour. And
No
you know,
commercials?
I'll be breaking down. I'll be breaking it. It may eventually evolve into commercials, but for now, no sponsors or anything like that. But that's something I'll be definitely open towards as well to bring it up. But for now, it's just strictly content. And the show is called "Say It with Your Chess." Chess is spelled like the game, because I'm an avid chess player too. That was my first passion before the music even took a part. And it's basically calculated conversations. So that's why it's called "Say It with Your Chest."
I can't wait to
I'll be trying.
We got
But that's
this.
the next endeavor. That's the next endeavor.
Oh man, my love, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. Where can they find you?
The main place is IG at Kind Genius. That's KIND Genius, GENIUS. One word, at Kind Genius. Or just shoot me an email, fmrstudios@gmail.com. That's FMR Studios with a S at gmail.com. Those are two ways to pretty much reach out to me,
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Welcome to the Raw Zone. Remember, you can find us everywhere, www.rawzoneny.com. Wednesdays, Pulse 82.3 FM, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Friday, 10 p.m., the Evening Rush Radio Network. We are powered by Official Cap House as well as Wings Beacon Elite. Shout out to you guys once again. Next week, we have the Platinum Boy producer himself, the one and only Amadeus, will be in the motherfucking building. We are celebrating excellence in the music industry. We are giving our flowers to those who really deserve it. So catch us here next Tuesday, 8 o'clock on our website and YouTube. Let me just move this from myself. And
salute to my guy Amadeus too. That's the homie too. You know what I mean? Last year I actually got to link him and Bianca. We actually did content together on a TV show.
Ooh,
that's a fire. Yeah.
Listen, man, he's one of the nicest people I have ever met in my life. Like, I remember interviewing him during the pandemic like I did you, and I'm like, oh, no, I gotta run this back again.
That's dope.
But in usual Raw Zone fashion, I leave everyone with these parting words.
I've got one more thing to say, and it'll only take me a second. I've got 2 words that I want you all to remember. They're very important. And if I leave you with anything, I'm going to leave you with these 2 words. And those 2 words are, I'm Batman.
I had to do it. I had to